Hey guys, this is ThePokemonmaster14, and I'm here today with PBR battle against Antar1011. Since I can't upload, Antar said that he would send me the file and let me add a narration to it, so here it is. I'm going to be using my Sandstorm team in this battle, and here his Uxie sets up Stout Rocks. I just went for the Toxic for some steady damage, but unfortunately, as you'll see in a minute, he has a Lumberry, so he cured up Toxic, which is sort of a pain, but here he keeps using Psychic, he starts using Psychic, so it's not going to do much at all to help out on. And I get to set up my Stout Rocks. I didn't want to try Toxic again, just in case he decides to U-turn. So now he's taking some damage from Sandstorm, so that's not too bad. And he stays in with Psychic, which again, not really doing much against Powdon. And now I get to set up and have my Toxic up as well, so if he decides to stay in with Uxie, it's not really going to do much. Here I switched to Powdon because I basically couldn't do anything with it. I've already used Stealth Rock and Toxic. The only two moves I had was Rest and Earthquake, and Uxie has Levitate, so it wouldn't really do much. Except in Steelix, knowing that he'd use Psychic, and with Steelix type, Psychic does nothing. So more Sandstorm damage and more Toxic damage. And he uses U-turn here, which won't do much against Steelix, but it's good because he gets to switch out. Well, good for him anyway. So he calls back Uxie, and he sends out Rotom, which I sort of wasn't expecting because since he's a Ghost Electric, he'd probably have a Ghost Electric move, so he probably has Hidden Power of some kind to counter Steelix. But anyway, I went with Gyro Ball and did okay damage to Rotom, and he heals up the damage from Sandstorm with his leftovers, and uses Substitute. And I know my Gyro Ball is not going to take down Substitute in the first turn, but at the same time I know that Rotom probably can't do much against Steelix. So he uses the Hidden Power, and it does okay damage to Steelix, but not really too much. So I go with the Gyro Ball, and now it gets rid of the sub. So now he goes with Hidden Power because most likely if he substituted, he'd probably get too low in health and Sandstorm would take him out. But I use Gyro Ball and I take him down to a small amount HP, so I didn't want to waste my Steelix Tap Berry. So I wanted to keep it for later so I can explode or just like attack one of his Pokemon with Gyro Ball to do some damage. So I call back Steelix and I send in my Dugtrio, knowing it can easily outspeed and can take any hit that Rotom can basically use. So here goes Hidden Power, must be Fire, so it didn't do too much. And Sandstorm damage going against Rotom, just healing up after his leftovers. Now I decide to go with Night Slash, which obviously gets rid of Rotom. And I take some damage from my Life Orb. So he switches into his Arcanine and get some damage from Starrock. I thought I'd be able to survive the hit, but unfortunately I couldn't, and Dugtrio goes down from extreme speed. And Arcanine takes some Sandstorm damage, along with his Life Orb damage, so he probably won't survive too long, so I sent in Relicanth, knowing that I can set up with my Rock Polish. And he goes for Thunderfang. I know since the Sandstorm's up, Relicanth's defense is increased, he can easily survive one of its hits and get back with Aqua Tail or something. So I go up with Rock Polish to make Relicanth be able to outspeed all of his team, basically. Sandstorm doing some damage to Arcanine. And unfortunately here, I misclick and he gets off his extreme speed. And I misclicked and clicked Bounce instead of Aqua Tail, which it would have changed the battle up, but probably the same would have happened in the end. But anyway, he decides to call back his Arcanine, obviously because of the Bounce, and he sends in Steelix. So Relicanth uses Bounce. It doesn't do anything to Steelix at all, and I get to use Aqua Tail, and does a good amount, seeing the Steelix defense is really big. And it uses Earthquake, which is going to finish off Relicanth. And Relicanth goes down. So that's a bit too bad with the misclick, but oh well. So I send in Flygon, knowing that I can easily outspeed Steelix and most likely KO it. So he recalls his Steelix, and he sends in his Blastoise. So out comes Blastoise, takes some damage from Stealth and I decide to use U-turn to switch out, knowing that he'd probably go into his Glaceon or Blastoise because of Flygon. So I switch out and I go into my Marowak, which has Thunder Punch, so hopefully it will do some damage to this Blastoise. And Sandstorm goes on, Blastoise goes down some health, and I knew I had Water Spout, so I was sort of threatened by Blastoise. So I had to get rid of it quick, and I sent out Marowak to use Thunder Punch. It does less than I expected, but oh well. Blastoise goes for Ice Beam. I didn't think I'd live that at all, so I was shocked at this point. Sandstorm puts down some of Blastoise's health. Here's back with life left over, so not much is happening here. He decides to switch Blastoise back and send in Steelix, predicting my Thunder Punch to finish off Blastoise. So Marowak basically couldn't hurt Steelix because of type. I call back Marowak since he has a Choice Scarf stuck into his Thunder Punch, and I go into Powdon. So Powdon takes a bit of damage from Stealth and he explodes. I didn't expect that at all. So there goes my Powdon. Probably couldn't do much against his team anyway, but there goes a Steelix, and okay, that's it, I'm gonna revenge kill you, I'm gonna explode right back at you. So I send out my Steelix, knowing that the Stealth Rock will bring it down to its Custap Berry. He sends out his Glaceon. So I just explode right here. Custap Berry lets me move first, and explosion. Get rid of that Glaceon. That's one threat out of the way. That means that Flygon is basically okay. The only threat I need to get rid of is that Blastoise. So down goes Glaceon, and down goes my Steelix. So here I sent out my Flygon, going to U-turn again, just see what he sends out. and he goes into his Arcanine, bringing it down to really low health because of Stout Rock. And he uses extreme speed to do as much damage as possible to Flygon. It did a good amount of damage, and his Life Orb takes him out, so down goes Arcanine. So Flygon's attack obviously misses because it doesn't have anything to hit. And now he sends out his Blastoise to Ice Beam me. So I use the U-turn, do some damage to it, and it knocks out Blastoise, which is nice. Knowing my luck, it would have survived with 1 HP, so I was happy that I got rid of Blastoise. And I go into my Marowak. So I know Marowak can do some damage to whoever he has left. And Marowak is the only Pokemon I have left at this point, apart from Flygon. So he's back into his poisoned Goopsie, which takes some Stout Rock damage now. And I go ahead and use Double Edge, which doesn't do much at all. Expected to do more than that, but anyway, he uses Psychic and takes down my Marowak. So down Marowak goes. Fortunately, there's a Sandstorm and Toxic damage, so she's going to be at really low health. Which means as long as Flygon outspeeds, it can easily kill it. I send in Flygon with Choice Band, so I wasn't really sure if it would outspeed. But most likely would, because Uxie's speed anyway. And I use Crunch and I'm faster, and that wins me the game. So good game, Antar1011, and thanks for watching. Remember to watch all other videos that were uploaded this week, and I'll see you guys next Wednesday. Enjoy Pokemon Black and White.